Yo, what's up, everyone? Good afternoon or good morning for folks over on the West Coast like me. But yeah, we are jumping back into another episode of the Glimmer cast, and this time we're going to be covering all the latest spoilers for Black Adam, some thoughts on Shazam, as well as just the general state of the DC film slate as we see it up until this very moment. So yeah, I'm joined by a familiar face on the channel, SuperHive, Allie. Welcome,
Hi.
welcome. And I'm also joined by a new face on the channel, Rurouni Aly. How are you doing this Sunday afternoon?
I'm doing great. It's actually 2 o'clock here. So I'm well rested. I ate breakfast. I'm ready.
Absolutely, I'm so stoked, and I love your Batman the Animated Series shirt as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, yes, you're gonna make a lot of fans on this show wearing that for sure. But yeah, I just want to do a quick go around the panel just to reacquaint everyone in the chat with my lovely panel. So, and Rurouni, since it's your first time here, tell us a little about yourself and your channel and what work you like to do there.
Okay, so I am a cosplayer first and foremost. So I cosplay on my Instagram. I do TikTok. I do reaction videos for YouTube. So that's my thing on YouTube is reaction videos. Right now, I'm currently reacting to Chainsaw Man. Definitely going to be reacting to Attack on Titan, which is literally my favorite anime of all time at this moment. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I do reaction videos on YouTube and I cosplay on my Instagram and TikTok.
Awesome. Yes, and I've been loving your shorts as well.
Cool.
Some of your older shorts as well, especially your cosplay ones, have been popping up in my feed, and I've been catching up with those. So
okay.
Those are awesome. So I'm really stoked to have you here and join us today. And I'm joined again by SuperHive. Allie, how have you been? And
hi, good, thank you.
You've been covering a lot of DC news lately on your channel. Like, how's the vibe been as far as like the influx of information we've been getting? How are you feeling about it all?
It's been a lot, but in a good way, because I think it's stuff that a lot of us fans have been waiting to be excited about, stuff we've been waiting to be excited about or hoping to be excited about at some point. So it's been nice to have, what we've been talking about or here. Oh, sorry. I do this all the time. I hit my microphone all the time. It's been exciting finally to have all this Superman stuff to talk about. And so, yeah, it's been fun.
Definitely. But yeah, I am going to go ahead and pull up some Black Adam clips as well. And I know that all three of us have seen the movie and have shared some of our thoughts on it. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and make sure I greet everyone in the chat as well. What's up, Bat Channel, Trey, Corey, how are y'all doing? Black Adam, yes, absolutely. I've only seen it once, and that was on Thursday. So I definitely want to see it again in theaters.
Same.
I'm assuming this is going to be a double watch for you as well, Allie? Or sorry,
I saw it twice.
Yeah. You did?
Yeah.
You already saw it twice?
Yeah.
Did you feel the same way watching it the second time? Because I think like I need to watch it a second time just to get like a good feel of it.
Okay, well, I saw it Thursday and then I saw it and then I saw it Friday. So, did I feel the same? I guess the second time, well, I guess kind of like with any movie that you watch, there's things you notice the second time that you didn't really notice the first time, or like certain details that you kind of...
That is super powerful and it powered up the crown. And that's pretty much it. And that it affects Black Adam. Like, yeah, that's the only thing that could hurt him, pretty much.
Yeah, it's a pretty...
And have him imprisoned for a little bit, at least until the end. So I think his purpose was like, I don't want to say like underwritten or anything like that, but I do feel like he felt a little tacked on, although like I did just point out some examples where he was useful, but it was a little hard for me to kind of like remember exactly how
because in the first viewing Atom Smasher and Cyclone, I feel like in general the JSA needs more story. Like, you don't really get anything about that. Well, Dr. Fate and Hawkman, you get their history, but because they're like the only two original ones still from the JSA, from the original JSA, and then like Atom Smasher and Cyclone are like young new members of the JSA, but you don't really get much about them. It's just like Amanda Waller asks who's the team, and they kind of show. You do kind of pick up more on, well, I did more on how they use Atom Smasher and Cyclone, because I was like, they're not really contributing that much, you know, in the first time I watched it. Cyclone, I felt like her powers are cool, and like they had some really cool visuals with her. But I was like, what is she? I didn't understand what she could really do against Black Adam. Like, she's not going to be able to do much. You know, Atom Smasher could definitely be useful. But since they made, I kind of like that they,
that's a good example.
That was cool.
What did contribute?
Noticeably. And the second time, I was like, okay, I kind of forgot about when they did that. I think more in the third act is when I realized there was a little bit more that Atom Smasher and Cyclone did. That the first time I watched it, I kind of didn't like remember as much. And the second time I was like, oh yeah, they kind of contributed here more in the third act that I remembered. But of course, like,
that was their first time meeting and really getting like a sense of like the impact of the job that they were going to do. Rurouni, did you have any thoughts on, you know, Cyclone and Atom Smasher? Did they work well for you in the narrative, or did you feel like they kind of fell short?
That is actually, I agree with what SuperHive said. That's literally my initial reaction as well in regards to Cyclone. Cyclone, I felt like they underutilized her. She was pretty much useless in the movie, but I did love the visuals that they had for her, for sure. That's like, they were beautiful. Like, I love the way they did that. And Atom Smasher, I just think that he was just there for like comedic relief, pretty much. But it made sense why he didn't really understand like what he was doing, because that was his first time at the job. So it makes sense why he was so clumsy and like destroying everything in his path, regardless of like trying to help, because that was literally his first time doing so. And I agree with what you also said to SuperHive in regards to like they didn't give enough backstory, and I think that they just I guess they're just basing it off of like what people already know about the JSA and about the characters. But still, for newcomers who are not familiar with the backstories or not familiar with the characters, they definitely should give more backstories on these characters before they just throw it in our faces in the movie like that. Like, for instance, like, I mean, from jump, I was excited to see Dr. Fate because I love Dr. Fate. But other people probably don't know who Dr. Fate is, what he does. For example, I think that they also like kind of underpowered Dr. Fate too. Like in the end, when he died, I was like, that's impossible. Like literally, like I was like, that's impossible. Like
I was pretty shocked too.
Yeah.
But like, you know what I think though, is that since he took off the helmet, I think that kind of understand those things that they change. Like, you're not going to cast Pierce Brosnan and never see him. Like, they're gonna make it to where he can take off the helmet, like for live action. I understand that, but I think he chose to take it off because I think if he would have had it on, Naboo wouldn't have allowed him to die.
Yeah.
And so
maybe he made an agreement with Naboo to like take it off.
Yeah.
He knew that was the only way.
Yeah.
And that's why Hawkman was able to use the helmet too. Because that's also when like Hawkman used it, I was like,
yeah, me and my husband were talking about that after the second time, and I was like, how something like you can use it in this way. So I guess they had an understanding, like you said, where
but those are like all assumptions, right? Because we know the characters, and like the movie doesn't really explain any of that, but like those are all assumptions pretty much. Same way that I assumed that the reason why Black Adam felt so close to the kid and the mother was because it reminded him of his child family. And his family. Yeah, but they don't really explain any of that in the movie. It's like all of it is just assumption.
Yeah, I felt the same way.
Definitely. I love how deep into the lore y'all got to kind of help fill in the blanks that the story admittedly didn't have enough time to do so. I'm hoping at the very least we get a lot of people are hoping that we get like an extended cut or an unrated cut. There were some scenes that were actually pretty brutal that I was surprised that they were able to get away with a PG-13 rating. Like one, for instance, that comes to mind is so Sabak, the villain of the movie. He literally gets torn in half by Black Adam, and I'm like, this is a Mortal Kombat style, like, you know, brutality.
You
right
see like
now.
the guts and everything come out of his brain.
And
that
I'm just
was
like,
shocking.
why? How is this PG-13? Is it because like Sabak's a fantasy character or what? I don't know, but
that was pretty shocking to me too. It was originally rated R when they submitted it. So
I like to see the rated R version because
exactly, and I know that was a studio decision because I was like, when they are not only filming the movie, but when they submit it, they kind of know. Like the director pretty much kind of knows, oh, this is most likely going to get this rating. It's not like they don't know what kind of stuff they're submitting. They know what's going to get rated R. So I'm pretty sure maybe they're like, let's just try it and see if the studio allows it. But, I know most people are going to want to be like, because that really shocked me, the tearing in half. But it's pretty brutal. Like, he's pretty brutal, Black Adam. And from the trailers, like, he kept saying he's brutal, like Dwayne Johnson. And I was like, I don't know, is he? From the trailers. But then I watched the movie, I'm like, okay, he is.
Yeah.
But Sabak, that when he was pulling on him and like the other members were kind of like trying to, subdue Sabak or whatever, when Black Adam was pulling like on his horns, I was like, what's he about to do? Like, is he trying to tear off his head? Like, I don't know. I was like, oh my God, this is going to get dark. But I didn't expect the tearing in half. Like, that was pretty shocking to me too. So I don't know what else. I'm guessing that some of the rated R stuff was probably like, they show more blood.
Yeah.
Or like when Hawkman gets, stabbed through.
Like,
maybe you see
blood.
more. You probably see more of like what's going on. It's just more graphic visuals.
Yeah, definitely. What I want to see, possibly like an unrated cut, is also like more of the, not only just like the like explicit like violence of Black Adam, to just like communicate the impact of him sort of like being not tethered to any type of morality in the pursuit of justice, because I think that is where the most interesting part of the rivalry between Hawkman and Black Adam for me was, where like Hawkman is just like this pillar of heroic morality, like heroes don't kill, and Black Adam's like, well, I'm not a hero, and so what's your point, basically. But it was fascinating because ultimately I think where they landed in terms of their rivalry was like, they see that they can both exist and they're not like mutually exclusive to one another. They can both pursue the same end goal through different paths. And Hawkman's method of being a hero and his moral compass isn't the only path for one to be considered a hero to others, because the entire city that Black Adam had a hand in saving actually was grateful for the tactics that he put into place, although although brutal to witness and to recall, like, and all the deaths that he had a hand in. Ultimately it was his actions that helped
liberate them.
Yes, liberate them and basically bring the city back under like their own autonomous control, and not so much like the outsider control that was plaguing them throughout the entire movie. So I thought that was pretty interesting, that like, oh well, this may not be like the preferred path for someone else, but it works for other people. So I thought that was an interesting point that they made in the movie too, that I wish they could explore it a little bit more explicitly. But to y'all's point, they were trying to accomplish a lot in the 2 hours that we got. So I think that's where I would love to see, like, maybe even like a 2.5 hour cut, if not like a 3 hour cut.
Yeah, same.
The longer the better, honestly. I would love more context, because y'all are helping me with filling in the blanks on a lot of the lore.
They could have used more time for sure.
Yeah, but I think the issue also is just DC in general, like DCEU in general. They just are terrible at connecting stories. They're terrible at giving backstories to these heroes and characters. Like Marvel, they gave each character like a solo movie, so you could totally understand like where they're coming from and where they, their background, as opposed to like DCEU, they just throw all these characters together, not really much backstory. Like if you're not into the lore of like the characters, or like did your own like reading for it, because I don't read comics, but I do like my own research on Google, like about the characters that I'm interested in. And like if you don't do that on your own and you just watch these DCEU movies, it's just you're gonna be completely lost on who these characters are, where they came from, why they had those powers, etc., etc. Like that's where DCEU like really fails at what they're doing right now. They're like literally just throwing all these like movies together, not connecting at all.
I think.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. To your point, Rurouni, I just hope that this is a launch pad for all these other characters to get that audience support in order to go and then further support the spin-off JSA content that we got announced. But yeah, go ahead, SuperHive.
Yeah, like I think Hawkman, I think a lot of people would be interested to see. I mean, they've kind of alluded to it, like the cast members. They want to be able to expand more on the JSA members. And I think for sure Hawkman would be a great option for that.
I would love to see Hawkwoman.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I think people, I remember during all the press tour and stuff, they had asked Aldous Hodge about the intentional, like, because I think originally they were going to put Hot Girl in the movie, and then they changed it to Cyclone. So he was like, you know, that's, I don't want to say too much, but like, hopefully if we get to expand, he said, you know, they can bring her in, because, I mean, another big part of Hawkman's, I mean, story is that Hawk Girl too, is that they reincarnate. So that's like a big thing about their story, that the director had come out and said that we're not going to include that in the movie because it could be confusing, which I don't think it's confusing. I think you could.
Cyclone was confusing because honestly, I don't know anything about Cyclone.
I don't think most people do, but my husband told me after the second time we watched it, he's like, oh, I realized that the scientist that she mentions that injected her with the nanobots is probably Red Tornado.
Oh.
And that's why her powers are like that. And I was like, oh, that makes sense.
That does make sense. But that's just us because we know like the backstory.
And I was like, oh, that's a crazy story that she told Atom Smasher. But like with Hawkman, it's pretty important. Like they don't really explain anything about the fact that he's like Thanagarian, that he's not from Earth, that, you know, you kind of like, how is he? Dr. Fate talks about 100 years and this and that, that they've kind of been together. So you're like, how could this guy be, like, they don't explain really anything about who Hawkman is or what he is. But I think the one thing that they touch on that kind of will allow them to maybe go into the reincarnation aspect of them is when he says, I'm not afraid to die. You know, like, you could have told me a long time ago that I was going to die. I'm not afraid to die. So hopefully, I feel like if they expand with Hawkman, they kind of have to bring unless they just make it to where like he can just live because he's not like human. But I think the reincarnation thing is he could have, just like Cyclone said, like real quick piece of dialogue of why she has her powers. I feel like they could have kind of done this similar thing for Hawkman to explain how he's been around, how he and Dr. Fate have been together so long, working together so long, because they don't really explain anything about him at all.
That's another thing too, is that since we have so little context on like what to expect from as far as like JSA content in the future, there was some hints about it before the movie actually came out, and I was a little suspicious because I'm like, well, can we enjoy the movie that's coming out first and then talk about follow-ups? And so I'm like, okay, now I'm in a place where I'm just like, I love the movie, please give me more. I want more characters.
I definitely want to see
and
more.
So now they're not telling me anything now. I'm just like, you got to capitalize on this momentum of us, wondering who these people are in the story. And one thing I was concerned about, like to y'all's point about Dr. Fate and some of like the questions we have about, like, is he truly gone? I think The Rock mentioned that like he's one of my favorite characters as well, and we will see him again. I'm like, okay, thank God. Hopefully we get like some flashback scenes or some context about like how he met Hawkman, their kinship and camaraderie that they built, and maybe some past missions and stuff. And yeah, to y'all's point about Cyclone, like who is she? Like what are these nanobots they injected her with? Is she, kin to Red Cyclone? And even maybe like some flashbacks of Henry Winkler as the Atom Smasher back in the day, maybe some CGI of him like as the Fonz, but with the like red the Atom Smasher suit on. I don't know, something like fun like that would be great. I would really appreciate that. So that's what I'm hoping for as far as like additional JSA content, is that they helped carry the movie along with Black Adam so much that I feel like it should be Black Adam and the JSA like as like the pivotal marketing points. For me, going into the movie, I didn't expect to like have such affinity towards the JSA, and it's a little disappointing that they weren't used as much, because I feel like they were some of the strongest elements in the movie personally.
Yeah,
I would love to see like JSA if they do like a separate JSA movie. That would be great. Or like even a show, like how HBO Max are doing the shows, like I love Doom Patrol, by the way. Like even if they just do like a JSA show, that would be also awesome.
Yeah. That would help. Shows help because they can tell a longer story and with a series compared to, you know, a movie. I think most people would be on board for at least Hawkman or I mean, Cyclone and Atom Smasher, they probably have to be part of a like you said, like a whole series, like of a team series, not their own. I don't know if they could hold their own series. I don't know if they have enough story for that, but
no, they'll be part of the
definitely
JSA like series.
Part of the whole JSA. Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone in the chat is talking about how annoying the kid is, and I'm gonna, you know, play devil's advocate. Like,
I didn't think
the kid was just,
really.
You know, like every other kid in love with superheroes, and you know, wanting to, you know, be close to, you know, like a step in sort of like father figure to towards like Black Adam. So like I didn't necessarily find him annoying just because like I understood what his purpose was in the movie, and we're so used to that trope at this point as us who are a little bit more plugged in on like, you know, like how films work and some of the things that they do in order to capture different audience types and stuff. Of course there's going to be like a kid that other kids can like, you know, see themselves onto and kind of latch onto and as a self-insert in the story. Like I didn't find it too annoying, and I felt like the parts of the story where he and Black Adam were having like this is how you be a superhero, these are all, you know, the catchphrases that you're going to do, and this is how you time your catchphrases. And my favorite catchphrase that he recommended was tell them the Men in Black sent you.
Yeah. I thought that was so corny. I didn't like it.
You didn't like it? Oh, I'm sorry. I love cheese and corniness. I love camp.
I thought it was funny how he told the kid the first time he tried to use it. I thought it was funny. He's like, don't tell me. You tell them. You know, I thought that was kind of funny. But definitely. I didn't find the kid annoying. Plus, he's obviously going to be somebody. It's going to be some kind of hero or, you know, another character, because Dwayne Johnson said, play attention to the people who are not heroes yet. And you get that from that kid because he's like fearless and he's like, you know, just talking smack to the intergang. Yeah, he's not afraid. He's fearless, and, you know, they give him his little cape and stuff. So he's obviously going to have some kind of future with them. But one thing I was also wondering the second time I watched it was, you don't really know why his mom is wanted for, like, they're trying to arrest her.
I think it's because she is trying to find the crown before them, or take the crown. I forgot what the crown is called, but like
that's what I thought. But how did they know that?
And I'm pretty sure she was a huge advocate against them, because remember, the father died. He died like as a martyr for the cause. You know, for their cause. I figured that they were
probably just like rebels or something.
She was probably like a leader in their like rebel cause.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking, but I was like, they don't really explain.
They don't explain anything. You literally have to just make assumptions for absolutely everything in that movie.
I totally missed the part about the dad. I just thought he was just like not present.
No, he died. He died for the cause. He died.
She said that they killed him, and she said something about she gave up her job at the university. I mean, she's like a professor or something, which is how she knows all of the translations. But I mean, that's the only thing I could kind of figure was that they're like, you know, rebels of some kind, because she kicks some butt too. Yeah. So, you know, I mean, I just figured maybe that was the only reason why, but it could definitely, I mean, I know that they did they kind of just had to make do with 2 hours, which is hard because there's all these characters you're introducing and the story and Black Adam's origin and, you know, but it could have benefited from
the story could definitely improve for sure.
Yeah, but the action was definitely awesome. Story. I mean, I like the movie overall, but it could use some more story time and certain things. But the action, I think they did a really good job with.
Yes, that's what gravitated me towards the movie, and like for me to get hype, it's just the action. Like it's very action packed. I love the visuals of it, but the story definitely was lacking. For sure. And I originally gave it a 9, but I'm as I was thinking about the movie, like I'm starting to give it an 8. So let's see how it's gonna go when I watch it the second time.
Yeah. I definitely don't think like, I mean, I don't really care what critics say, like Rotten Tomatoes and stuff like that, but I do think the hate is pretty drastic.
It is.
Like, it's pretty drastic.
The disparaging like difference between the critic score versus the audience score. So the audience score is like in the high 80s to 90s currently, and then the critic score is around the 40%. But granted, like that's Rotten Tomatoes, which I don't really like how they aggregate their scores, because a 3 out of 5 would be considered a fresh or a rotten depending on the nature of the review, and that's up for human interpretation. So these scores are definitely like subjective ultimately. So I'm more interested in like the audience score.
Yeah, for sure. You could tell that that's pretty much what Dwayne Johnson cares about too. So but it was pretty shocking how hard people started coming at it. It's like, okay, it's a little
I get the
dramatic
mixed reviews though. I get the mixed reviews. So I get like the people who gave it a low score, they were probably really focused on the story, right? And I completely understand, because the story definitely was lacking. And then you have people that are viewing it in an entertainment like factor. I thought it was highly entertaining, and that's why I gave it a high score. Yes, the story is like okay, but the entertainment factor of it was it for me. And I think that's why there's a lot of mixed reviews.
Yeah. No, I really enjoyed it. Like I thought it was definitely enjoyable.
For sure.
And I think they did a good job of establishing him as like a godlike character in the DCEU. Like they didn't really like water him down as far as like his power level. And so I think they did a good job of that too.
Yeah. And I like the way that they made him like an anti-hero. Because I was confused too, because I thought like Black Adam was a villain. And they made him like an anti-hero,
Because in one aspect, like he's a hero to his people.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't think he necessarily like... Okay, like for instance, Zod is like a straight villain. Like
there's no question about it.
He just will like cold blood kill anybody for any... You know what I mean? Like he has his one... He just has, focused laser, you know what I mean? His purpose. And Black Adam is kind of just like, he's killing like mercenaries.
Bad people.
Or
he's killing people that are like oppressing his people. Exactly. And I completely understand and get it.
Yeah. It's just that when he doesn't control his power, it can cause a lot of, collateral damage. So kind of like that Hawkman told him at the end, like, you can control it.
Yeah.
And so that's how other people around him didn't end up getting hurt.
Really quick, while we're wrapping up the Black Adam discussion, I definitely want to touch on the post-credit scene. So, Rurouni, I want to hear your thoughts. I won't even like set any expectations for what I want you to say. Just go ahead right in it. What were your thoughts?
So first of all, I'm really upset that there were so many spoilers about, his return. Like, imagine if we didn't have any spoilers and we saw that like happening. I think my reaction would have been a lot more hype, but I was expecting it pretty much. I mean, I got hype. Like everybody, the movie theater like erupted when Superman came out, but like it kind of like diluted the hypeness, because I already knew that this was going to happen. But either way, like I'm excited for it. I want to see the direction that they have towards it, like how they're going to connect into the Shazam and the Black Adam story. Like I just want to see more connections with the DCEU.
Definitely.
At this point.
For sure. How about you, SuperHive?
Oh my God. You don't understand. I love Henry Cavill Superman so much. The thing was, when the rumors started coming out about him being in the movie, and then the whole thing about Comic-Con, I was like, since he didn't show up there, wherever that rumor originated from, since he didn't show up at Comic-Con, I was like, if he's on in Black Adam, like that's the only time we're going to know. We're not going to know before then, unless it gets spoiled, which my thing was going into it that once it starts getting screened for, the premiere or press or special screenings that fans get to go to, it's going to get spoiled one way or the other. Either people are going to reveal he's not in it or he's in it. So I felt like either way we were going to find out ahead of time, ahead of the global release. I felt like we were going to find out one way or the other. And I was like, for me, I was like, I want to know that he's in it. Like, I want it to be confirmed that he's in the movie, but I was like, I don't know if I want to see it before I see it in the theater. I just want to know that he's there. But then the night of the world premiere, when like it only took minutes for it to pretty much be online, my husband was like, I want to see it. We've been waiting too long. And he was like, just watch it. And I was like, okay, I can't wait anymore. So he's like, how long have we been waiting to see him? And I was like, you know what? It didn't really dampen my excitement because I was like, it's just been forever, you know, that we have wanted to see Superman back on screen and know that he's back. So I was just like super happy. And then like the videos and stuff that people show about the audiences cheering and stuff, I was like, yes. And it kind of made me more excited because I was like, on the phone or on Twitter, you're kind of like, it's not the best quality, you know. So I was just really excited to see it like in the theater, cinematic quality, and actually hear what he said, because all the videos I saw where everyone was cheering, I couldn't really hear what he said.
I still couldn't hear what he said because everybody was screaming in the movie theater. So hopefully the second time I watch it, like it will be more quiet and I'll be able to hear what he said.
So I was just like, yes. I'm
just seeing
super
like
excited.
his like very like tranquil face just filled me with so much like relief. Like everything's gonna be okay. We're gonna get good stories again, and we've been waiting like 6-7 years.
Yeah, and plus I was like, I know, like obviously he's not gonna come back to do, you know, lame stuff. So like I'm super excited. I'm like, they gotta put him in Shazam. Like put him in everything, please. Just put him in everything. Because now they can. Now that he's in Black Adam, now it would make sense if they kind of bring him up in like a credit scene or epilogue for Shazam, so they can kind of be like, hey, like need to help each other out, or you know, I guess most people expect Superman to help Shazam fight him, so it would make sense if they did that.
Like if Black Adam gets out of control, I'm honestly like, I see that you're a huge Superman fan. Honestly, I'm not a Superman fan. Like he's my least favorite Justice League. But no, is he like your favorite?
Henry Cavill's version, yes.
Okay.
I do like, okay, Christopher Reeve will always be like, you know, the classic Superman that everyone respects. That's great. And my mom loves Christopher Reeve, so like she always loves him. You know, that's what she grew up with. She grew up with that Superman. But I think, you know, for this version of Superman, yeah, I definitely love his Superman. And
that's kind of like with Batman fans and like Keaton. Like Keaton is like the main Batman that everybody looks up to. Even though I really honestly liked Robert Patterson. I don't know his name. I'm so bad with names. Pattinson. Yeah, I liked his version
pretty
of
much
Batman.
Every interpretation of Batman that we got. I will say that Clooney's was the weakest. I actually am pretty forgiving of Val Kilmer's because he was a really strong Bruce Wayne in my opinion. So Batman Forever is rewatchable because of him being in it. Yeah, because he's so likable and you know such a great actor. But yeah, to your point, Keaton is probably my favorite Bruce Wayne and Batman, and then Ben Affleck and Robert Pattinson was pretty good in like his own little like special way, like that was unique to any other interpretation I've ever seen. It was definitely different, so that's why it stands out to me, and that's why I'm compelled to, you know, like rewatch it because it's so drastically different from the other sort of like swankier, like high rolling, like Bruce Wayne interpretations. Oh wait, I was gonna also.
I mean, my favorite Batman is Kevin Conroy.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's a great pick.
But live action for sure is Keaton.
I actually had the Shazam trailer as well that I'll play in the background while we're discussing that, since we're talking about Shazam, because I know a lot of people were mentioning that in terms of like my understanding of Black Adam, like I guess like he's more of a Shazam villain, and it was like a little confusing why like he or why the production was leaning more towards prioritizing him confronting Superman before the rest of the Shazam family. Definitely, yeah, I can understand that. So I guess like I'll be a little bit more forgiving for that because we are getting the Shazam movie next, and I don't know if we're gonna be expecting any type of Black Adam reference or cameo in that. But
for sure,
I think the amount of references that they put to Shazam in Black Adam is proof enough that we're gonna see those two groups cross over eventually. Maybe just
he said they would.
Okay, good. That's
he said they would, but I think it would take time because I think with Superman, yeah, it's hype for sure, and it was like a segue to bring him back. But
Oh, sorry, I was just seeing that the stream paused for a minute, so I think it's because of the trailer, but it's all good. It should go back online in a few seconds.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Even with no sound, that happens?
Yeah, even when we're like critiquing it, I know it. I've seen it happen on other streams too, but I think it's contested afterwards.
Yeah,
because we're totally criticizing.
It happens. Like when I do my reaction videos, it literally happens all the time. I get cited for copyright all the time, and it could be like a second over.
It happens.
They stop it.
It's like, oh, before you even post it, you got a copyright claim. Like, I know.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just sitting there waiting. I'm like, I know it's gonna get claimed.
You just hope it doesn't, though. Like, you still hope it doesn't. Like,
I mean, with the sound, you know it's going to, but I thought sometimes without sound, it might not.
Yeah, no.
Because sometimes it's like the music.
Enough to like, not get caught either. But what I wanted to also get into once we're back online was like speculation on the plot too, because I was thinking that if Superman and Shazam were to team up against Black Adam, it would be interesting if the criticism I had about Black Adam having like less of like a moral compass keeping him from being so violent is tested, because like obviously Superman and Shazam have moral compasses because they're raised by humans, so they have like human morals and stuff like that. Black Adam doesn't really have that, like because he kind of gave up on his place in humanity and is just sort of like existing like outside of the outside of those rules. But yeah, I'm gonna wait till the stream goes back up.
I mean, if it wasn't for the kid and the mother, I think like his humanity.
Oh, we're back on.
Oh. If it wasn't for the mother and the kid, I don't think like Black Adam would have any humanity when he came out from, sleep or whatever he was.
That's true. But yeah, sorry, go ahead, Allie. SuperHive.
No, either one's fine. He kind of shows it because in the cave, he saves her from being crushed or whatever by the... So he knows, something in him knows that she's not one of the, well, I guess because maybe she wasn't shooting at him, but she told him, like, your instinct was to save me. So you're not just like this cold-blooded, no mercy whatsoever, just killing everybody. You know what I mean? He kind of like, he kills them because they are who they are and because of what they're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. She plays a pretty big part in like reminding him of that.
Again, I'm assuming that the reason why he was so close to them was because that's literally like his wife and his son. And he saw them in them. And that's probably the only reason why he like saved them automatically, had that like knee-jerk reaction to save them.
Yeah.
Oh, and one thing I was mentioning before we got back online was although like Black Adam has like sort of like a loose moral compass, like he's still tied to humanity as far as like who like he can like align with and care for and protect. He still is someone who will kill on sight, like if like someone stands in his way, and that was made evident by all the soldier deaths that some may argue like, oh, those were innocent people there, but I'm like, no, they were occupying a country like against that country's will, and they were also attacking him, so it was like not only self-defense, but they're not good guys. So yes,
that's why I was on Black Adam's like side when like JSA came and said all like they're here for justice and and then I think the mother made a really good point. It's like, where were you when we were occupied for this amount of years? Where's the justice in that? Like, Black Adam is our savior, and I was like, I completely agree.
Absolutely. And I was at the risk of like going back offline, I won't show the Shazam trailer again, but we can definitely talk about that while we're kind of like speculating a little bit on like the future of the DCEU and what we want to see happen as far as like more plot lines that are established, or like more characters that get their backgrounds fleshed out a little bit more. Rurouni, were you a fan of the first Shazam movie at all?
Not really.
What were some some of your criticisms or issues with it?
To be honest, it was such a long time ago. I don't really remember it, and I didn't rewatch it because I wasn't a big fan, so I can't really speak on it. But I just know my initial reaction from watching it. I was just not that big of a fan. I think I don't know. I forgot what it was. I gotta rewatch it again to like get my points across. But it was such a long time ago.
Absolutely.
But the second trailer didn't look that bad, so I'll still watch it.
Yeah, totally. I think one of the disappointing things for me that we continue to talk about, no worries, Allie, sorry, SuperHive, and was the headless Henry Cavill cameo, which we kind of like got a little bit of a retribution with Black Adam for. So SuperHive, I know you're we're gonna wrap up in a couple minutes, so I'll let you take the floor as far as like issues with the Shazam and some of your hopes like for what the sequel can improve on and going forward.
Yeah, I don't think I didn't love Shazam. I kind of appreciated it for what it was, but it wasn't the most rewatchable DC movie for me. I mean, I know that it's going to be because of his character. He's a kid who gets superpowers. Like, there's going to be like this goofiness aspect to it. And, I mean, I think there was plenty of things to enjoy about it. I know that we didn't have much of a budget, so some of the stuff looked a little, they did what they could with the flying and everything, but I do think the second one will probably be better. As far as like, I think it's going to be better. The second one, I'm kind of getting that vibe from the trailers. I think it might be more like higher stakes, or I don't know. I'm going to feel about the villains just yet. I don't know if I'm sold on them, but I do think it's going to be better than the first one. I think they'll be able to, I don't know. I just think it's going to be better. Like the other stream I was on before this, we were kind of talking about how there's kind of some discrepancies between how Billy Batson is as a kid. He's not super like goofy, or you know what I mean? And then when he's Shazam, Zachary Levi is more of like a goofball. You know what I mean? Or he's kind of like,
I picked up on
he's
that
not
in the first
really
Shazam movie as well. It was a little jarring.
I was like, that's a really good point. Like, you understand? I mean, I know that there has to be an aspect of like, he's a young teenager who gets powers, so there's going to be some of that that's Shazam's character. But we were kind of talking about like, hopefully in the second one, he's a little bit more mature as Shazam because of the powers that
show that he was like kind of childish.
I mean, he still is, but I'm hoping that he kind of starts to have like this arc or this growth where since he has like, maybe he can start tapping into more of the powers that he has from the wizards, because we're talking about like he has the wisdom of Solomon, he has these things that maybe they can tap more into. As far as I know, the first movie he's getting his powers, he's kind of playing around with them, like a young teenager would do. But like we were saying, Billy Batson's not really, I mean, he's kind of like, you know what I mean? He wasn't really like that.
Yeah.
So maybe he'll start to have maybe some growth as Shazam in this movie. Or they'll kind of start to show that maybe, especially because now he has to, like, it's all of them now, the whole Shazam family. So maybe he, kind of has to step up to be some kind of like leader for them. So I don't know. I think it will be better, hopefully, but I don't know. I guess we'll see. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it.
Less than 2 months. Like, I'm so glad that this waiting window is so small compared to like how long we were waiting for DC movies to come out compared to like the rest of the year. So if anything else, I'm just like stoked that we're getting more content, because I do love the DC I guess lineup of characters and extended universe and all this other stuff. I feel like it has a lot more potential, and it's a lot more interesting to talk about that to me personally than the MCU stuff, because there's so much of the roadmap and stuff that's made public that it just seems like a laundry list of products to consume, whereas with the DC properties, it feels more like momentous. There's something to look forward to, and we talk about like how excited we are about these projects throughout the year, even if there's only like 1 or 2 projects to look forward to. So that's like where my joy comes from interacting with folks like y'all online and other folks in the chat too. But on that note, I want to thank my amazing panel for joining us for this amazing discussion about Black Adam, Shazam, State of DCEU, all that fun stuff. I'm going to go around and have y'all let us know where we can find you at. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and wrap up from there. Rurouni, take it away.
Hi. Okay. So I'm Rurouni _Aly everywhere. Twitter. Oh my God, I'm blanking out. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. So YouTube, I'm doing reaction videos. Instagram and TikTok, I'm doing cosplaying videos and pictures. I'm also trying to do Twitch soon, maybe. I'm thinking about it. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
Tight. And SuperHive, yep. Where can we find you at? And what are you going to be working on?
Yeah, my YouTube channel, SuperHive, just how you see it here. Twitter at SuperHive DC. My Instagram's a little different. It's not really towards my channel, but you can look it up if you want to. It's Brooks _Hive. Yeah. Also Super _Hive on TikTok. I don't really like TikTok that much.
Me neither.
But I kind of just post and leave. Like
same. I just like cross-post my YouTube shorts on my TikTok. Yep.
Yeah, when I post a video on YouTube, I'm like, here, TikTok, I made a video. Like, and that's it. Like, I don't scroll or like interact much on there. But, so I'm way more interactive on, Twitter and the channel and stuff. But mostly my channel is just, keeping up with movie news, movie reactions, trailer reactions, and all of this stuff that pretty much the same kind of stuff that we've talked about here. So
absolutely. And on that note, thank you everyone in the chat for contributing some awesome conversation points. And I hope we can reunite again in the future for more DC talk. Well, when or if there is more, I'm sure there's going to be tons of that. But I'm going to go ahead and let my lovely panel off the hook to enjoy the rest of their lovely Sunday. And I'll go ahead and play the outro. So thanks y'all for tuning in, and I'll catch y'all later. All right, take care.
Thank you for having us. This is awesome.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank y'all too. All right, take care. Bye.
Bye.